This week, we also had to build a TAM for a new enterprise B2B SaaS company that we are working with. And they came to us and they said that we want excellent lists of companies that are based in the US, 50 to 5,000 employees, and then they actually fit these verticals. We want B2B SaaS companies, we want retail, e-com, CPJ or CPG, manufacturing, logistics, insurance companies, healthcare companies, and financial services companies. So, and if you've ever built lists like this before, one, building them individually is kind of annoying. And also, a lot of times they don't really fit. So there's no such thing as a B2B SaaS filter unless you're using Prospio's new filters or Ocean.io or something like that. If you want to look for all e-com brands, this is really tough as well too. I think Bacardi, which is an e-com brand, it's a retail brand, right? I think they list themselves under beverage manufacturing or something, and that's just not going to come up if you just hit retail, right? Manufacturing and logistics companies, notoriously, you can't find all of them on LinkedIn for one thing. And then the second, they list themselves in crazy industries as well too. Insurance, you could probably get away with just doing insurance because that's fine. Healthcare is really hard because if you pull all healthcare insurance companies or healthcare companies, what's the difference between a medical devices company and then healthcare SaaS and then a hospital and then a healthcare insurance company? So that is really tough. And then financial services, we just needed to separate out fintech and, companies that weren't what they would consider to be financial services companies. But then they also considered financial services to be banks. If you just pulled financial services, you were going to miss all the banks as well too. And so, as you kind of see by the theme of some of these videos, we pulled all of this using Claude Code and Codex in one shot, and I'm going to show you the workflow of how we did it. And so the pipeline, first, when it says a type sense pull, so we have basically stored every company that we have ever gathered for any of our customers is stored in a type sense search engine. So what we've done is we've created a Supabase with 15 million clay enriched companies inside of it. And then that's connected to a TypeSense database where in that TypeSense database, we can search things very fast. Because if you try to build something that you can search inside a Supabase, it gets really long and it doesn't work that well, but TypeSense is super fast. I think I pay $200 a month for it and it's just sick just with what I can do. So we have an internal database of all of these companies and we went there first for numerous amounts of keywords for the B2B SaaS. So because our database is enriched with all of the clay derived data points, we could search for keywords like B2B and SaaS, and they would be in there because we enriched them with clay in the past. And then we pulled anybody with manufacturing keywords, anybody with retail or e-com keywords and all those things, and we were able to pull it out from there. Then what we didn't get, we uploaded those as an exclude search, and then we started searching for those companies in Prospio. If you haven't seen yet, and actually I'll open it up, Prospio has added a really great V2 to their platform. And what you can search for on the type and the business model, we can just click for manufacturing right here. And we can just click for fintech and we can just click for health tech and all these things. So we went straight here and for each of them, we made a custom Prospio company search. And that's how we were able to pull a lot of this together as well too. So it said free and it was primary because we pulled everything we could from TypeSense first. Then we paid for Prospio to be able to find it as well too. And that just complemented what we were finding over here. And then we did a merge and dedupe to just make sure it was all set in stone as well too. Then we used Sonnet 4.6 for qualification. So in this, there was too many companies, so we did not use task subagents. I oftentimes in other videos tell people if you don't want to pay for the API tokens, you can just use task subagents to qualify if the company is an ICP. There was just way too many companies, so we used the batch API here. I think it costs $50 to do the batch API in this. But my biggest tip for this is I always tell people to set up what I call an ICP prompt loop. I basically don't write prompts anymore because I just tell Codex or Claude Code, this is the input that I'm going to give you and this is the output that I want. Create a prompt that makes that happen. So I will say, this is what we consider a B2B SaaS company. This is what we consider to be a manufacturing company. This is what we consider to be a financial services company, etc. And then it creates a prompt to review actual companies in the data set and then show me, hey, I've looked at 10 companies. I think this company is B2B SaaS. I think this company is not B2B SaaS, even though we thought it was. This we think is manufacturing and I agree, or we think this is manufacturing and I don't agree and this is why. And it presents me with the company name, the website, and the company description and its decision. And then I help improve that. And so the reason I call it an ICP prompt loop is because I don't let it run across the entire data set until I agree with it 3 times in a row. So it shows me 10 companies, I don't edit anything. It shows me another 10 companies, no edits, another 10 companies, no edits. Then it runs the entire loop. As soon as there's an edit though, it stops and it doesn't run everything. It keeps giving me those 10 companies in those chunks until there's no edits. I find Sonnet 4.6 is more than capable of making these decisions, and it's super cheap through the Anthropic batch API. So this was great. Then we did further enrichment with our Clay database as well as the Prospio Enrich company. And then we ended up with 87 columns that we shipped over to them. And yeah, it was just, here's actually the cost breakdown as well of everything that we did. And so it was super cheap. We got their whole TAM. I even got asked for feedback on it, and they said that it was a awesome list, and they were super happy with it basically. And so anyway, this is just an overview of how, if you wanted to create multiple TAMs at the same time, if you don't have an internal database like we do, you could just skip to Prospio. You could use Blitz API. There's Rapid API endpoints that do this well as well too for LinkedIn data. You don't have to have this by any means, but I hope you found this workflow useful as far as how we clean this up.